Hello! Okay, as promised, I'm doing a first impression on the Mario Surrealskin Foundation. I almost forgot what it was called, and I don't know how because it's everywhere on the internet. I've heard the name of this foundation a trillion times at this point. It's viral everywhere, like especially all over TikTok. I'm not even really on makeup TikTok a lot of the time. I'm on like cooking TikTok at the moment. Cook talk? Baby talk? I don't really want to be on baby talk, but you know, people are going crazy for this, and I kept trying to buy it on the New Zealand like Sephora, but I don't think they have it there yet. I mean, they might by now, but I ended up buying it directly from his website. They do ship worldwide, which I wish I realized that sooner. But anyway, I bought a few things actually, but today we're just focusing on this bad boy. I'm so excited to try it. I'm looking at the formula right now and it looks really interesting. It looks like it's got like this shimmer pigment through it. I'll show you in a second. First of all, can I just acknowledge that I know I've got a rash. There's this moisturizer I love, like body moisturizer, and I keep using it because it smells good and it makes my skin feel good, but it gives me this weird rash, but it doesn't hurt and it goes away. Probably should like stop using it, but also I'm like, it's okay. Alright, we're back. I haven't even done my hair today. Literally, it looks so crap. So crap. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? So, if you're new to my channel, hello! Feel free to subscribe. I do full face first impressions all the time, and then sometimes I do these foundation first impressions where we are going to put on primer on one half of my face, put the foundation everywhere, see how it performs, see how the longevity goes. We're going to check in throughout the day. I have normal skin. Sometimes it's dry or dehydrated. Right now it's literally just normal skin. We're going to see how this foundation wears. I have the shade 9W. I think. Yeah, 9W. I couldn't tell if it was 9W or M6. Surrealskin Foundation is my complexion masterpiece. I put my heart into this groundbreaking formula with the hope of not creating a barrier of foundation, but rather awakening the true infinite beauty that lies within. With love and light, Mario. The foundation bottle is nice. It's a little bit weighty. It doesn't feel cheap whatsoever. It's got this more plastic lid. It's a little bit soft touch. It's got a silver pump. The information on the bottom, glass bottle, simple branding. I mean, it's not my favorite packaging. It's not my least favorite. It's nice and simple. I think if you're like a makeup artist, it looks beautiful in a kit. Let's zoom in and I'll try to show you what I mean by the pigment I can see. Can you see that little wee sparkle in there? The light's shining perfectly for it right now. So we'll shake up the foundation before we begin, but the colour looks a little bit dark. I had to just guess my shade. Oh gosh, the sun is really bright. So if I love this foundation, not sure, I might have to buy a lighter shade to mix, or you know, I don't know. I'm sure we can make it work. Now, like I said, I've seen this all over TikTok, so I know people love it, but I can't really remember what they say about it. So, you know, it's still my own first impression. So it is $42 US. It's in stock right now. There's heaps and heaps of shades, lots of different undertones and depths, which is nice to see. Natural finish, liquid formula, hydrating, long wearing and medium coverage. It's got grapeseed oil and vegetal squalene, which is moisturizing. And it's also got perfecting powders, which work with the skin's natural texture for a smooth and enhanced finish. I wonder if that's that stuff I can see, or if that's just like a glowing pigment. Gradually build to achieve full coverage. For a natural coverage, apply with fingers. Here we go. Note, there is a very low percentage of skin tone enhancing pearl powder. That's what we see in the formula that lends to the beautifully naturally luminous finish, but it's undetectable on the skin. Cool. That's kind of what we want. We don't want it to look, you know, like a highlighter or anything, I guess. We end up like my friggin' MAC first impression that I did, which some people did make a good point. Just side note on that foundation, I'll link the video down below. I was really like unimpressed by it. It was so glowy, but even too much for me. People were like, maybe it's trying to be like a dupe for Charlotte Tilbury, you know, the Hollywood filter stuff. I was like, yeah, maybe, but I still feel like it's not as good, but I might try using it like that at some stage. I don't know. I'm still trying to like get some use out of it, guys, because I paid so much for it. Let's prime half of our face. We're gonna use our girl Selena's primer. I love this. I've been using this a lot. And I still, like, I swear to God, I bought the small size because I was like, I've got so many primers that I don't need anymore just in case I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. I've used the living crap out of this and there's still like half left. And I low-key want to like finish it so I can buy the like big size. Anyway, I'm gonna prime this side of my face. I'll just let that settle in. I'll just stick up my brows real quick. I'm using my brow shaping gel by XO Beauty. I just like take a chunk and I just toss it through my brows, kind of brush it back and forth. And then brush the hairs into place. Like this happens at first. Oh God, you have to work. relatively fast. Kind of making them a little bit, not thinner, but you know, flattening down the edge. I really like how that looks actually. I think I'm on the borderline of getting sick, by the way, which is real cute. I've run myself into the ground, and I'm one of those people that like if I'm exhausted and then I don't sleep well and stuff, I get like real swollen glands, like my whole throat and everything. My neck just like gets all like tight, and then I get sick, and my nose is low-key running right now, and I'm like praying that it's just hay fever, but I know better. Now that that primer is well dry, I'm going to use a sponge today. I've already wet it. This is just the ultra soft sponge Bake So Beauty, and I think I'm just gonna go in with one pump. There's a pump. I mean, the color looks okay. So I use a sponge or a brush. I'm gonna start with a sponge because I do love sponges. But it says on the website use a specific brush. I don't know. Let's just see. I'm kind of dabbing it out, and now I'm just going to bounce the foundation. Ooh, straight away. Okay, it blends out so beautifully. Look at that. It spreads nicely. And actually the colour's not bad. It's definitely like a shade too dark. But I feel like we can work with it with some light concealer just to like brighten up under my eyes and everything. It'll kind of come together. If I like this, I'll definitely buy a lighter shade and mix them. So it looks very glowy already. Performing well with, you know, no primer. I'm gonna go in with another pump, this time on the primed side. I'm praying that this does not oxidize, because if it does, then I'm screwed. Just using whatever's left on my sponge over my forehead, because I don't really care about having too much coverage. It's more just to match the colour at this point up here. It looks beautiful. It's almost like if you took the Hollywood Flawless Filter stuff by Charlotte Tilbury, but made it more of a foundation than, you know, a glowy primery mixy thing. It's like the more foundation version of that, in my opinion. Like that's how it sits on the skin, like the texture, the formula, and like the finish and everything. It feels very similar. I'm talking about this stuff here. Reminds me of it a lot. It feels very lightweight. I don't feel like I'm wearing heaps of foundation. I'm going to use another that's about a half pump just to build up a bit of coverage. You can see I need a little bit more on my red spots down here. I feel like a little bit does go quite a long way. I feel like the pigmentation's really good. If I was just going for a lightweight look, I feel like one pump all over the face blended out well would look great. But today I'm just seeing where we can go with this coverage, of course, because that's what the people want to know. Wonderful, looks so smooth. I'm gonna take some body bronzer and just like kind of put a little bit over my chest so that it matches better. Otherwise we're just gonna get annoyed the whole time that it's not a color match. Usually I'm pretty good at picking my shade on websites, but you know, I can't be perfect. So I'm going to zoom you all the way in so you can really see the texture, how it's sitting on my face. I feel like it's seamless. Like if you got the perfect color, it looks like you can't tell where your skin ends and the foundation begins, if you know what I mean. Sits so nicely. My nose is covered in crap right now and it's still sitting over it really nicely. You can see over the pores on my face, it looks really nice. This is no primer. With the primer, I feel like it looks just as good. It doesn't look better or worse, really. Oh my god, I forgot to blend out this, but see what I mean? Like it just sits so nicely on the skin, you can't even notice. Whoops. I think it looks amazing. I just can't get over how thin it feels, and it's definitely very glowy, but in a nice way. It's not over the top. I mean, for some people it might be over the top, but for me, I like that. I'm gonna whip on my concealer and powder. By the way, these ultra soft powder puffs are out now on exobeautyshop.com. They make your under eye powder go on. Oh, the best ever. I am obsessed with loose powders now under the eyes because this has just changed the game. So we're gonna bake a little bit under the eyes. It just makes your powder sit so flawlessly. It blurs. I don't think I've put these down ever since I had our samples, like our first samples. Are so good. If you haven't tried them before, definitely give them a go. Even if you are obsessed with using brushes under your eyes like I used to be, I'm converted. I'm just gonna set my foundation with some powder. I don't always set my foundation in real life anymore. A lot of the time I will just leave my foundation, but just so that it matches the rest of my first impressions and we can you know, use this as a baseline. I'm just using a tiny amount of my MAC Studio Fix powder that I always use. And that looks really pretty. It still is glowing a little bit, but obviously it mattifies a bit. It looks stunning still, like so good. Yeah, I feel really, 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 really pretty. Like my skin just looks great. It looks like I just have perfect skin. And not in like a super full coverage cake face way, like in just a really natural. It still kind of looks like I'm wearing makeup, especially with powder under my eyes like this, but do you know what I mean? Take a brush and just get rid of that excess powder. So smooth. Do you know you can use these as well to like apply blushes and things like that, and it looks so flawless. I need to show you sometime. I think it's only going to look better once I put on more makeup, so I'll do the rest of my makeup off camera. I might film another video. Quick flash test. I think it looks really nice in flash photography. I'll put the pictures over top so you can judge it for yourself. I'm just going to go and do the rest of my makeup now. So far so good. I forgot to tell you the time. It's 10 a.m. so we will wear this till at least 10 p.m. tonight and, you know, get a good idea of how it looks over that 12-hour mark. As long as it looks good for at least 6 to 8 hours, I'm happy, but I really hope it looks good for 12 because even better. Here's a quick close-up now that it has been set with powder. It definitely looks a little bit heavier with powder on. Hello, duh. And the glow, you can still see the glow, and I love that. I'm so happy about that. Nothing worse than when you have the most beautiful, beautiful finish and you set it and then it's just like gone, wasted. I'll catch up with you guys shortly once I've got my makeup done and it's been a little bit and you can see how it's wearing. Hey guys, it's been 2 hours and here is like the finished makeup look and everything. I've just been chilling, doing that and stuff, and I feel like this foundation looks so good. Put on like blush and highlighter and bronzer and everything, and it all sat so nice on top. It blended so nicely on top. I'm so far a big fan. I hope it continues to wear well throughout the day. The only place it kind of went weird was on the underneath surface of my nose because I blew my nose, but I just kind of like pat it with the sponge and it just settled it back into place. So it'll be interesting because later I will be having my headphones on, sitting at my desk, and I feel like I always go like this on my hand. So we'll see if any of it transfers off and see if it goes all funny. But for now, it's been chill. Hey guys, so it is now 2 p.m, 4 hours, and it still looks basically perfect. I feel like it's ever so slightly faded on a few areas down here, like you can see a little bit of redness. I've had my headphones on, they're over ear, and so far it hasn't like removed anything all weird. Hasn't creased around my nose. It looks flawless on the forehead. Oh, you can tell I've been eating. Yeah, so far so good. No oiliness, like excessive oiliness or anything like that. All right, it's now been 6 hours, so this is like the bare minimum I would like to see my foundation looking absolutely flawless, and it is. It totally is. It's still not oily anywhere, which is like pretty good. I mean, I don't get oily typically much or fast, but with some foundations it does start melting a little bit, I guess is a better way to put it, whereas this one has stayed really the exact same perfect. I took off my lashes because I was getting really dry eyes. Does anyone else ever get that? I've been editing, doing lots of stuff. Look, it's come off a little bit where my over-ear headphones were. Not surprising, it's not completely transfer proof. I mean, there's not much there is. All right guys, it's been a while. It's 7 o'clock, so what's that, 7, 8, 9 hours? Woohoo! It's getting on now. So we'll do one more update after this, but here's how it's looking. I feel like it looks identical. Here's the unprimed side and the primed side. Honestly, I feel like it looks almost the same. I'd say the only difference is we're starting to get a little bit of that like oily, melty look, whether it's natural oils or just the foundation, I don't know. Just slightly. It's really not that bad. In fact, I think it looks stunning in real life because I like that look a little bit. Kind of just looks like I haven't set my foundation. You know what I mean? And it's mostly on the T-zone, so I assume it is just like a little bit of my natural oils kind of mixing together with the foundation and coming through. I can tell you right now though, I really like this foundation. I think it looks so smooth still. I do have artificial lights on. We've figured them out, thank goodness. I've got them set up again. And the artificial lights, I swear, make my skin look, you know, worse. Not in a bad way, it shows up every little bit of everything. So, I mean, it's good for you guys to be able to see it. Here's a little close up. But yeah, I think it's stunning. What do you guys think? All right, 12 hours, it's 10 p.m. and I feel like I'm looking a little bit more rough now. It's just faded a little bit and gotten a bit more oily, but it still looks smooth. It doesn't look like it's clung onto any dry areas, which I do love because I hate when foundations do that. I hate when they start looking dry and crusty. So it definitely goes more on the moist side. Around the nose, like it's a little bit melted. It's not too crazy. And I feel like the prime side is a little bit less oily looking, but it's still oily. Just out of interest, I'm just going to take my powder brush and just a really, really light dusting of the powder I used. And I'm just going to tap that really lightly over anywhere where it's oily, just to see how it touches up. Look at that. So other than the fading, that made it look so much, you know, nicer again. Still a little bit of a glow, but nothing is oily looking. So do I like it? Yeah, 100%. I do want to buy a lighter color now. It's definitely my type of vibe for something that's a little bit more glam and full coverage. I do love the undertone though. The undertone's like perfect. Yeah, it was just like a shade too dark, but yeah. Tell me what you guys think. Do you love it or will you leave it? And let me know if you do want a video just like this on the Good Apple foundation. Please let me know. I don't know if I should just use it in like another video doing my makeup full face, or if you want to see just a in-depth video like this one. I will talk to you guys then. Bye bye.